In the simplest terms possible, the point of basketball is to score more points than the other team. While obviously there's a lot more to the game, scoring is what the driving force of winning a basketball game is. And the 2023-2024 Indiana Pacers are averaging 127 points per game as a team, more than any team has ever averaged in NBA history. And this scoring phenomenon raises a critical question. Is this due to individual talent and team synergy, or just a product of the era we're currently in? In this video, I'm going to give reasoning for each of those arguments, and then end it with what I think the true answer is to the key of Pacers offense. But before I get into the video, I'd be extremely grateful if you could drop a like and a subscription, so I can get one step closer to being able to afford my dream possession, a Contavious Caldwell Pope jersey. Anyways, let's get right into the video. Let's get into the reasons the Indiana Pacers have been so successful. The impressive roster filled with excellent talent. And the first player I want to talk about is the mastermind behind what seems to be every bucket for the team. No, not head coach Rick Carlisle. I'm talking about 23-year-old guard and Twitch streamer Tyrese Haliburton. And if you haven't been really keeping up with this NBA season, then you are missing out on a show that this guy puts on every single night. He's so young, but is easily in the conversation for the best playmaker in the league. And I'd honestly go as far as saying he's the best passer in the entire league. And this is coming from a Jokic superfan. He's leading the entire league in assists per game at 12.5 with only 2.5 turnovers. While that might seem like a large amount of turnovers, I can assure you when looking deeper into it, it's surprisingly little. At 12.5 assists per game, this season's Tyrese Haliburton has currently the 14th most assists per game in an NBA season ever. And when comparing this season to the top 20 most assists per game seasons, Tyrese Haliburton has the least amount of turnovers by anyone, and it's kind of by a lot. The next closest guy in the top 20 in assists is 94 John Stockton, who averages 3.2 turnovers per game, a whole 0.7 turnovers more than Haliburton this year. If none of that made any sense, the main point I'm trying to convey is Haliburton is having one of the most efficient passing seasons of all time. He's done things like drop 32 assists between 2 games with a whopping 0 turnovers, as well as tying the assist record without a turnover in a single game. This dude is on track to be one of the greatest passers ever. Yes, on the same level as Stockton and CP3. It's not just his insane ability to find the open man that makes him so good. He's a phenomenal scorer as well. Despite his unorthodox jump shot, he's still shooting 40% from 3 while averaging almost 8.5 shots from behind the arc per game. He's also almost averaging 50% from the field with a nice 86% from the free throw line. This dude is nuts. With a player who's so efficient at everything you need to get the ball in the basket, it's hard to not have the most effective offense ever. But you can't average over 12 assists per game without some good teammates to pass to. So who are some of the other guys contributing to this insane offense? Let me list them off. First of all, you have one of the best 3-point shooters in the entire league, Buddy Hield. While he doesn't get the attention some other shooters like Steph Curry or Trae Young get, he's still phenomenal. All he really needs to do is sit in the corner and wait for the ball to arrive in his hands. And when he lets it fly, you know it's going in. This year his 3-point efficiency has taken a bit of a drop, but I see that as an unlucky down year, because 4 times in his career he's averaged over 40% from 3, and many other times he's been close. Despite being in so many trade rumors, Buddy has been a great catch and shoot guy for the Pacers. Next is center and Lego enthusiast Miles Turner. While being one of the best defenders in the league, he still manages to put up great offensive numbers, averaging a nice 17.5 points per game with solid efficiency and formidable 3-point shooting, but he's more of a defensive guy in the anchor in the paint, and that's where he really shines. They also have NBA champion Bruce Brown, who is known for his hustle and grit. He really shows it on the court for the Pacers. Not the most efficient scorer in the world, but he has his purpose. There's also second-year player Benedict Mathurin, who can come off the bench and drop crazy stat lines on a nightly basis. He's a good shooter whose main job is to just put the basketball into the hoop, which in the NBA is a pretty important job. Another solid piece for the Pacers is Obi Toppin, who's quite quick for his size and shocks me every time I watch him with his staggering athleticism and electrifying dunks. He's impacted the Pacers lineup so much despite it only being his first year with the team. Finally, there's Aaron Nesmith. All I'll say for him is it's no coincidence that his last name basically matches with the guy who invented basketball, because he can hoop. He's averaging 46% on 3-pointers while shooting over 4.5 of them per game. That's insane efficiency, especially for someone who's still quite young. The Pacers roster has so many unique and versatile players that keeps it quite simple to score so many points. And I didn't talk about some other key guys like TJ McConnell, Isaiah Jackson, Andrew Nembhard, and even more. This team is loaded with talent, and even if this team was a bunch of first graders who don't know their ABCs, I bet all my savings that Tyrese Haliburton could still make them look like NBA prospects. He's just a genius with the ball. All this combined with an experienced veteran coach and Rick Carlisle just makes up for a deadly team that'll average the most points in NBA history. But when you line this team up with, say, the 96 Bulls or maybe the 2012 Miami Heat, is this really the best looking offensive team ever? Maybe not. Let's put this into perspective. Going back 20 years in the 2003 to 2004 NBA season, aka LeBron's rookie year, the highest scoring team in the entire league was the Dallas Mavericks, with 105.2 points per game on average. And yeah, this team was pretty good. They were 5th in the Western Conference, got bounced in the first round of the playoffs, but they were still in the young Dirk era. Basically, at this point in time, this team was known for being very good at scoring. And the fastest team these 20 long years ago was the Denver Nuggets with a pace of 94.64. Remember this, it'll make sense in a second. Today, the worst scoring team in the league is the Memphis Grizzlies, who are averaging 108.1 points per game. And the slowest team by pace in the NBA today is the Chicago Bulls at a pace of 96.51. Basically, putting all this together, the best scoring team of 20 years ago is averaging 3 points less than the worst scoring team of today. And the fastest team 20 years ago is moving at a slower rate than the most sluggish team to take the court in today's NBA. This is crazy. The NBA has gotten so offensive-centric and quick with their charitable foul calls and lack of hand checking that the teams who are the absolute worst at putting the ball in the hoop are better than the very best team at doing that exact same thing 20 years ago. And it's not like it's a crazy skill leap. There are still some insanely talented players 20 years ago. Hell, LeBron played 20 years ago and is doing just fine now. You can't look back at Allen Iverson tape and tell me that he wouldn't be able to play in today's NBA. I'm sorry, you just can't. This is not the same NBA that it was 2 decades ago, and it's not even close. And I'm not talking about the players, I'm talking about the game itself. With all this kept in mind, the Pacers are averaging almost 20 more points than the best scoring team 20 years ago. So when it comes down to it, is Tyrese Haliburton really just the answer to having the best offense ever? Or is it a fundamental change in the way basketball is being played that leads to these offensive bursts? My take on the matter? I think it's an unfair comparison. Like I said, it's clearly not the same league it once was, so why try to compare the teams of today to the teams of decades ago? I'd love to give you a definitive answer so I can spark more debate in the comments section for more engagement, but I truly just can't. It's the same reason it's totally unfair to compare guys like Jokic to guys like Wilt Chamberlain. It's like comparing Michael Phelps' 100-meter fly time to Peyton Manning's 5,477 passing yards in a season. It's just not the same game. You can speculate all you want. If the Pacers were dropped in the NBA 20 years ago, would they still be able to dominate offensively? Or if LeBron was dropped in the Jordan era, would he still compete? Who knows? Just enjoy the basketball we got right in front of us. Enjoy what the Pacers are doing every single night. Enjoy what Tyrese Haliburton is able to do. Would he keep up in the 90s? Who knows, and who really cares? Because what matters is that the Indiana Pacers team is keeping up today. Thank you for watching this video. I appreciate it if you made it this far. Sorry for no definitive answer, I just can't give one. And I'd love to hear your take in the comments because maybe I'm wrong, maybe you have a definitive answer. The whole reason I started this channel is so I could talk more basketball with more people. So let me know, is this the best offense ever? Also, if you enjoyed this video and want more, hit the little red button. It may not seem like a lot to you, but it means a lot to me. Toodles.